Hello guys, welcome back to day 8 of our 30 days React 0 to Hero series. And today we will be discussing about React Lifecycle Methods. Let's get started. Before we start on a Lifecycle Methods, I want to discuss something which I missed in our yesterday's video. So as we discussed about React states in our class components, I want to tell you one thing. Like whenever we want to update our state of any React component, we must use this setState method. I want to discuss that what happens when we do not use this setState method. Let's say I comment this method and I directly say like that this dot state dot counter is equal to this dot state dot counter plus 1. I'm directly incrementing my state. And also let us say I will print it also. Counter equal to. I will print this counter value as well. Yeah, whenever I am incrementing, I am pressing the increment button like this. Nothing is updating on our front-end window. But as you can see in our console, the state value is getting incremented. And closely observe, whenever I am pressing the decrement button, it is decrementing from the last value of the counter, which was 5 actually. So because of that, whenever I am decrementing, it is decrementing from 5. So then 4, then 3, 2, like that. But again, whenever I am incrementing, the value is incremented here in the console, as you can see. So state variable is getting incremented, but it is not updating our DOM. That's the main use of setState method. So whenever you want to update or manipulate frontend or the DOM, you must use this setState method. So there are some scenarios where you need to update your state, but no need to update your DOM. Whenever you feel that DOM updation is an expensive task. So in that case, you can directly update your state variable like this and no need to use the setState method. So that was the important point I wanted to discuss. Now let's start about lifecycle methods of React. So what are the lifecycle methods? So these are the methods of any React component which get executed one after another in a sequential manner. So there are basically 4 phases of any React component: mounting, updating, unmounting, and fourth is error handling. So in all of these phases, certain types of methods get executed one after another in a sequential manner. So in our mounting phase, we have constructor, static get derived state from props, render method, and componentDidMount method. In updating phase, we have static get derived state from props, shouldComponentUpdate method, render method, get snapshot before update, and componentDidUpdate method. In unmounting phase, we have only one method, that is componentWillUnmount method. And whenever there is an error in our component, we have static get derived state from error and componentDidCatch method. So let's discuss about the methods of our mounting phase with coding. So first of all, the constructor method gets executed. So to test that, I'll be writing console log here and I'll be printing the same name here. Then we have second method, that is static get derived state from props. Here also I'll be using the same name. Then we have render method. I'll write console here also. Render. And the last method we have is componentDidMount method. So I'll write this one as well. So as you can see, constructor method gets executed first, then get derived state from props method, then render, and last componentDidMount method gets executed. So as per the requirement of your project or your logic, you can use these methods and fetch the data or manipulate the DOM like that. The mostly asked question of our interview is like when we actually fetch the data or fetch any API call or do any API calls with the backend. So answer is we do that in our componentDidMount method. Now let's discuss about updating phase. So in updating phase, we have static get derived state from props, which we already have written. Next we have shouldComponentUpdate method. So let's write this. ShouldComponentUpdate. So this method takes 2 parameters like next props and next state. You can name it anything. So this is one of the important lifecycle method which we have. So whenever you want to actually check that is there actual need or actual necessity to update any component, that logic we write in shouldComponentUpdate method. So in our case, we can write if nextState.counter is equal to this dot state.counter, then return false. Why? Because there is no need to update our component, right? If the future value and the previous value is the same, then no need to update our counter. Else we can return true like this. And also, just to test it, we will write here method's name like this. Then we have render method, which we already have written. Next is get snapshot before update method. And the last one is componentDidUpdate method. Let's try this. So first of all, methods of mounting phase gets executed. I'll clear this. Now I will update our component. How? By using setState method, which we implemented in our increment and decrement functionality. So I will press the increment button first. Now as you can see, get derived state from props is executed first, then shouldComponentUpdate method, then render, then get snapshot before update, and the last is componentDidUpdate method. So use case is the same. As per the requirement of your project or a logic, you can use these methods. Here also you can use componentDidUpdate method for API calls, for fetching data from backend, like that. Now let's discuss methods of unmounting phase. To implement that, I have created one separate component. So whenever you want to create any new component, you have to write the name of component followed by .jsx. It's a normal class component only, but I have written this componentWillUnmount method, and I have imported that component in our main app.js component, and I have used this component in our render method. So here I have made a logic like whenever the counter is equal to 4, that time we have to hide this component, else it will be visible for us. So let's try it out. So currently counter is 0, that's why I am temporary component is visible. So let's increment to 3. I'll clear the console. Now you see the counter value is 4, that's why temporary component got unmounted, and that's why we have this componentWillUnmount method from temporary component got executed. This method is generally used for the clearing of data, like clearing the memory or clearing the cache. And the last phase is error handling. That phase we will discuss in our future videos. So that's it for today's video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.